Hey, sleepyhead. Is that thing above you making you tired?
Yes.
You know, you used to have a mobile like this hanging above your crib at night so you could look at it. Mobiles are designs, ways to hang art. Today we're going to work on making some mobiles here in the Van Veldhuizen kitchen. So I hope you're awake and ready to go.
Now I am.
Awesome. So this mobile here is made out of a paper plate with some origami doves that we made the other day. And was it hard to balance it?
Yes.
Yes.
Mom gave up first.
This, I will say, is an activity that will definitely teach our students some of those 21st century skills, like perseverance, to not give up, to try new things, and to take the challenge. I did say this was an activity I was going to be afraid of because I knew it was going to be a challenge. So, but I'm ready for the challenge today. Our standard that we're going to work with right now is 3PS2-1, plan and conduct an investigation to provide evidence of the effects of the balanced and unbalanced forces on the motion of an object. So, for this project, we're going to be building mobiles, and we're going to be talking about that standard. And there's also a lot more standards you can incorporate, but for the other one I would love to talk about is the 3-5 ETS, the engineering standards. Quite a few of them, 1 through 3, really apply. But 3-5 ETS 1-2 says generate and compare multiple possible solutions to a problem based on how well each is likely to meet the criteria and constraints of the problem. So for this one, we're going to have different criteria and constraints. For this project, my criteria is going to list a few things. Our first mobile is going to be made out of cardstock, or we are recycling file folders. You need to have at least 5 items hanging from your mobile, and you need to have at least 2 different string lengths on your mobile. Okay?
Oh.
So let's list off some of our supplies that we need. Tag board. What else?
What?
Supply.
String.
Yes, yarn and string.
Clips.
Paper clips. That's going to help you hang your object.
Tape. Straw.
So everything is going to balance based off of your straw, and on the straw we'll move stuff back and forth.
Markers.
Markers are going to help us decorate our mobiles and get them looking colorful. Now, and also rulers and scissors. And I know we had tape already, but I'm going to use big duct tape because in your books it will show you that your students can put their chair on top of their desk and they can tape a ruler to their chair, and then from there you can hang a straw out with a string to create your mobile on. So in this activity in the classroom, just reiterate to your students that they're going to want to be safe, stay in their areas that they're working in, be slow and careful, and just not want to knock over other people's chairs because we don't want any safety concerns. Also, a few different materials if you want to take a challenge and make it different. You could do foam shapes, just 2D. You could also use like 3D foam shapes, like circles or triangular prisms. Or today we're doing like the name challenge out of tag board. You could also do your own interests. Like, what are you interested in?
Sports, like softball.
So you could do like softball, basketball, and volleyball and do different balls on it. Or you could also do the junk drawer challenge. Yay! If any of you are like me or my family growing up, you've got a junk drawer that's got tons of odds and ends of just random things. You can always use those essentials to create a new challenging, harder mobile, especially for your gifted learners who maybe want a little extra challenge. So, you ready to get started?
Yes.
All right, step 1. We're going to do our names. So today, Mrs. V, I go by in school because I'm missing the van, or I got my van, I got the Veld, I hadn't done the Heisen, and it just gets so long. So today, I'm just going to use my puppy's name, which is Ella. So students, if you're going to make this, an easy way, if you don't know how to make bubble letters, is to just do your letters with like 2 or 3 wide marker strokes. So I'm going to show you here on the E.
Oh, wow. That's pretty.
So as you can see, I just did 1, 2, 3 up, 1, 2, 3 across. I just made my letter really big. So go ahead, grab some markers, whatever colors you want. And think about these letters as you make them. They're going to be what you're hanging. Now, remember that challenge was, I want you to have at least 5 things hanging from your mobile. So if your name is less than 5 letters, ding, ding, ding,
Mine.
throw in your favorite shape. So my puppy's name is Ella, E-L-L-A. So I'm going to throw in my favorite shape. Well, I should do a dog bone for her, but I'm going to do a star because I love stars. So here we are. We're going to be putting together some of this. We'll get back to you. So as you can see, I did Ella's name, E-L-L-A. And I got a star in there, so I'm going to go ahead and start cutting it out. Now, one of the reasons that I did the paper cranes with my kids was because they were working on folding paper and origami in school. So I took what they were learning and their interests in school. And we also talked about, I went back and did some paper cranes. So my son learned how to make paper doves. He showed us how to do that. I showed them how to make paper cranes. And it also reminded me of the book Sadako and the 1,000 Paper Cranes. So if you wanted to go ahead and add on a culturally responsive piece or social studies piece, you could teach your kids some origami beforehand. You could talk about different places and you could use your origami to make a mobile. So art is a really great thing that you can put into this. Also, you can throw in a history lesson too. Mobiles first came around thousands of years ago with Archimedes, and they're based off of just simple levers. And if you read through the book, you'll find out that there's 3 different types of levers. Basic ones you find around your house, like a can opener, the seesaw on the playground, a wheelbarrow, or even here on your body, your elbow and your muscle, your hand being the weight. It works as a simple lever. So mobiles act the same way, and this might just be a basic one here, as you can see, but from here we could put on different straws to create different ones based on like looking at the geometric shape of everything and elaborating from how it might be balanced. So some of the vocab words for this unit that we're going to talk about in this lesson is mobile, which is a balanced group of objects that can move. Force, the push or pull that causes the change in the position. Gravity, which is the pull from Earth, which keeps us grounded.
Yes, and not floating.
Not floating, Earth. Because if it was just floating around, our mobiles would look kind of silly. We're also going to talk about balance. Remember how you in first grade talked about fact families in math?
Yeah.
And your teacher said, like, 2 plus 4 equals 6. So on this side of the balance was 2 plus 4, and on this side of the balance was 6. If you just had 2 over here and 6 over here, the equal sign would not be equal, would it?
No.
So that equal sign in math acts as a balance. So that's what that's another key term here that we're going to talk about. The balance on the mobile, we want to be able to see that we're making it equal out, which is just equaling that weight distribution across the straw. Also, what kind of suffix would we put on the beginning of balance to make it the opposite?
Unbalanced.
Unbalanced. So, at times your mobile will be unbalanced, which is just when one weight item is overweighing it and you haven't found that equal spot in the middle. So those are some of the key terms that we'll also be using during this lesson.
Making a diamond.
How are your shapes coming?
Fine.
Good. We're going to keep working here and get back to you. But we start making the mobiles, it takes a little bit of time. See you soon. All right, we have cut out our words and our shapes. We have tied paper clips to the end of the strings. Strings are about 18 to 20 inches long. So in third grade, it's a great review after they've learned measuring. So on your mobile, the strings are going to just go around 1-2 times, and you can tie a knot on them. And the great thing about having these paper clips on the bottom is they can go through then after they've got their strings on there, and they can put their letters on. Now, some letters might hang differently depending on placement. So like my E, I could place here, or maybe I'd place it over on the end, and it might hang differently. Same with letters, like if you had a tricky letter like the letter H, would you want to do it from the top, or maybe you do it down in the middle? Kind of trying to see where the balance of your letter is. Letters like A, they're pretty simple to get the balance of. Do you any hard letters? So this is where we start to talk about and start to see the balance on the mobile and try to make adjustments to figure out how we can create the balance. A few other goals are we don't want our objects on the bottom to be touching, so that might be something where we need to higher them or lower them if we do different string lengths.
And another thing is try not to get them all the same height.
Yeah, sometimes it's difficult. I will not lie. Also, you know, for students who struggle with problem-solving skills or social emotionally, you could put them with some of your with students that you may think may work well together with them in order to give them a good chance at being successful at making their mobiles.
That was my, oh no.
How's it going over there?
I have no idea.
No idea. The other thing that I think would be really fun to do is to hang the mobiles and then do the second or third tier mobiles. In the book, it shows you some of those where they use different shapes, and you really talk about the balance of the geometry in there.
Loves geometry. She aced it in high school.
Who doesn't love geometry? I mean, it's shapes, it's problem solving. So, as you can see, I just quick did some adjustments of my strings on my straw. If I place this string more this way, I can start to see the unbalance because all the weight distribution is going farther down this way. Now if I pull this out a little more, I start to find a balance. I feel like I need to turn it this way too so you can see my word, Ella, floating there. Now, not really touching each other. They're about the same length. I wish I would have done some with different lengths. Are you doing them with different lengths?
Yes, I am.
Oh, kudos. You're going to score better than me. You remembered some of the constraints to our project.
You did.
I did not. So I may need to go back and make some modifications if I want to get some points in my rubric there.
Yeah, Mom. I'm going to get her score for her.
You're going to get a better score? I love it. Easy thing, I've wrapped my string around here 2-3 times, so I can just kind of pull the string to make changes and modifications of the sizes, move the letters up or down. There. Got some different sizes, a little bit of different balance.
I kind of did it.
Looking great there. Wow. Nicely done. So, what you have to ask yourself from here is, are you ready to take the challenge? Foam letters or the junk drawer challenge?
Junk drawer.
you'll want the kids to talk about a lot of those in the E's, in our 6 E's explanation. Explain why it works, what happens when that one side is off balance. What should we do? What makes it easier? What kind of shapes do you want to do? This one we just based it off our letters of our thing, or of our names. But if we did different shapes, would it be easier? Would we want to cut some of them smaller or larger?
You can make halves of circles.
Right. And we talked about string distance. How long would you want your strings to be or not be? So here I am looking at my ink as I readjust it. How can you readjust the placement of them to create a balanced mobile? So the language functions that really went with this one were, what can you do to modify the balanced or unbalanced mobile? So that might be one too, where you walk around, and if a group is struggling, you can talk to them about how to balance it. If a group is doing great, you can ask them, what if I add this to your mobile? So what if I bring something in and I add a different shape, Allie, to your mobile? Okay. Yeah, your mobile. Perfect. I love pink. Let's do a pink diamond instead of your diamond. Oh, it's peachy. So I'm just going to unclip it here and put a foam square in the bottom. What happened now? It is heavier. Can you use what you have there to adjust stuff to change it?
Yes,
to make it equal.
Because of size.
There you go. So you have to ask them, you know, what's easier, changing the length of the string or changing the position on the straw? What do you think?
What?
What's easier, changing the length of the string or changing the position on the straw?
The position.
Yeah, for me, it's the position too. So and even ask them, like, if I move this letter green L here, or on mine, if I move this L here, what effect do you think it'll have on the mobile? Without moving it, what effect do you think it'll have?
I think it'll make it, like...
If we move it to the left, what do you think will happen?
It'll get heavier.
Oh, which side?
On one of the sides.
All right. So we move it to the left a little bit.
It gets heavier on this side.
Since there's unbalanced force. Can you, without touching that one, change it to have it balanced?
Yes, I can.
What do you want to do?
That one.
There you go. So those are just some inquiry-based learning questions that you can incorporate into your lesson. Also, if you want to incorporate predicting, at the beginning of this, we could have drew a model to decide if our mobile that we drew would be balanced or not. Yeah. And decide if your design works with what you've done. So from here, if you'd like, take the foam shape challenge, take the 3D challenge, or if you don't have any of this at home, take the junk drawer challenge. Hope you had fun making mobiles with us. See ya.